Call the meeting to order. We have executive on personnel and litigation. Okay, any comments from the assembly?
I actually have a comment.
Yeah.
I'm Susan Orr, and I'm from the Elverson Honeybrook Area EMS. I know that we're on the agenda for later this evening. I wasn't sure if we are supposed to be addressing some of your questions that you had about ARPA funds at this juncture, or should we wait till the end of on the agenda?
Yeah, let's wait, yeah, let's wait for EMS.
When we get down to EMS.
Okay,
then.
great, thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that.
I did. Okay, you have your correspondence?
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Is there any way in the future you guys can have the meeting before the actual meeting? I mean, people are here waiting to have the meeting, and a lot of other boards have a meeting before the regular meeting so that the public's not waiting for them. It'd just be nice if people don't have to wait. A couple people had to leave already because they didn't know how long you're going to be. That's all.
All right, you have your correspondence in front of you. Minutes of the previous meeting, August 10th, 2022, regular meeting.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
August 22nd, 2022, special meeting.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
August 23rd, workshop.
I'll make the motion to accept it.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Treasurer's report.
Balance sheet, accounts for general fund equals $633,000, and $633,614. State fund has $185,000 in it. The accrual fund has $590,000. The reason that it has increased is because the ARPA funds came in this past week, so they were deposited into the accrual fund. Streetlight fund is $163,000 and some change, and same with the building fund, that's $405,000. So our total is, what do we got? $1,344,928. Total bills for the month, for this month, it totaled $144,164.71 for the general fund. The streetlights, were $4,735. The, building fund was a total of $1,444.13. And out of the accrual fund, they took for the police, the fitting of the new vehicle, $13,498.36.
I'll start off by making the motion to accept the treasury report.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Clarification, how much was the ARPA money that came in? Because I saw something back there, and it was ARPA or casino money. I couldn't tell.
219. Let's see, where's that?
That's the papers at the back then, that's the ARPA money. Because
I don't know.
I don't-
what-
yeah, I
don't know
can't-
what the
you can't
papers are
tell.
in the back.
I can't tell what it is as a resident.
Yeah.
So it's around 19K, okay.
Do you have it written down exactly what the ARPA was?
Is there any way we can have that and the casino money put on our website so we for transparency purposes, we know where that money, how much is coming in and how that's being spent?
We can discuss it then.
The
Is there any- yes.
the correspondence in the back, it shows, that's the last correspondence.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was casino.
219,
Yeah,
240.
I couldn't tell casino or if it was,
Right.
ARPA, I can't
Is
tell.
there anything else you had to?
No, I mean, I have another question, it's more of a legal question, so I was gonna wait. Yeah, I think,
All right, minimum municipal obligation, the MMO for approval.
have it? I have it pulled up, I don't know where it is right now. So our, minimal municipal obligation is gonna be $94,234.
What is that?
That is your pension,
Okay.
your pension obligation.
Okay, yeah, just, as a public, we don't know what that means, what that was.
Every year the treasurer fills in these numbers. We'll get the state's portion too.
Right,
She'll see when the state part comes in next year.
which is typically around in December when that comes in.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they appreciate that hers, so.
So,
And we'll send this to Conrad Siegel.
okay, so for tonight, you're looking for approval.
Yes.
So I'll make the motion to accept the 2023 minimum.
Motion.
municipal.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Financial transfers needed.
Right. There was I had to transfer $35,000 to the general fund from the savings account to cover all of the bills. Because we had quite a bit of earned income tax come in for this past month. So we only had to transfer 35,000 of the 144,000, and then 55,000 was transferred for payroll for this Friday.
Two separate motions. One.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion, second, all those in favor? You have your 2023 draft budget, so that's just for you to get started to look at it. They'll have figures put in for the workshop, tentative figures for the workshop.
What's the date of the workshop?
Workshop will be,
Tuesday, right?
yeah, the 27th.
Yeah, you'll definitely have the figures for that, because I met with Chief today, and went over all of his budget, questions, and Joan and I have been working on it, so the only thing we're waiting for is Public Works.
Okay.
And I guess he did have some questions, but he, couldn't be here today, so I'll speak with him over the phone.
Okay. Expense list?
I think that's what I read off the billing for.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor? Aye. Business, Popeyes Wendy's Land Development Plan.
Hi, Roger Vanderklok with Wilson Group. We submitted the documentation, the development agreement, the financial service security agreement, and the stormwater management agreement, as well as all the plans you saw in the back of the room. We have, once we got the numbers from Scott Anderson for the required improvements in the escrow account, or the, I say escrow account, the letter of credit. We filed for a letter of credit with our bank. Last week was a vacation week. Letters of credit don't always go as fast as we like them to go, so we haven't seen that yet. I'm sure Joan, if she'd gotten it, she would have let you know. And so that's, I think, what we're waiting for, is to get that done. So, in regard to the approval of the agreements, I would request that the agreements be signed and held prior to recording the letter of credits received. I think otherwise we've met all the requirements we asked.
So, on the point of the agreements, I reviewed the agreements, they're my agreements, so they're ready to go. So I would agree that the only thing missing is the letter of credit. I've reviewed the draft form from the bank. So I expect the original to arrive, it will be in good order. So I would recommend that you approve the agreements subject to receipt of the letter of credit. The second part will be a motion to reaffirm the plans, because more than 90 days has passed since your original approval of the plan. So the recorder of deeds will require a reaffirmation, just simply due to the passage of time. And then, is there a third thing, or are we done at that point? Agreements, plan, think that's it.
So I'll make a motion to sign the approval, pending letter of credit.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
I'll once again make the motion for reaffirming the plans.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Considering everything gets signed, the letter of credit comes in, when are you thinking, this is gonna start taking place?
Are you guys gonna
Construction,
do a drive-through?
construction could start as early as probably the beginning of October, site work.
Everything
Maybe
goes
before
right.
that, we've got the contracts in place, we just need to kind of have all the paperwork all in place and that happen. And I would say probably both Wendy's and Popeyes open up spring and next year.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
appreciate
maybe
it.
the plans, or the plans will be signed.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay, Sheds Unlimited, road closure.
He was unable to make it tonight. They are looking to discuss that closure, but it's probably, he said it's probably not because of ordering materials. It might be another 8 weeks before they start that detour and work along that.
And we've discussed this, and you were gonna be, I think you already have everything set up and ready to go, you're coordinating.
We've already met with him and we're just waiting on, try to get a date like 2 weeks out so we can let the business owners know, residents,
Can we use a later
transportation
sign?
to sign. They're also gonna be doing a detour route signage, so everything should fall in place.
I think Steve wanted to just come in at one of the meetings to make sure everyone was aware, just to keep everybody.
When you say detour, you're just talking, this is gonna be a day thing, they're only crossing the road, right?
2 days. I think he's putting in for 2 days, right?
I think they're looking to, it might be a little longer than that, and that's why we're looking at the detour plan to be in place and set for this, because coming down alongside the road, they're gonna probably be taking up most of the.
So they're not
lane.
just going straight across, they gotta come up the road and then cross.
They gotta go from Valley Ponds down and then over.
I think they said 90 feet.
Yeah, it's not a big
I don't-
stretch, but I think they're just
Yeah.
worried that it's gonna be more than 2 or 3 days to get down.
The problem is
We definitely need to let the industrial park know, because there's a lot of people that's out there. at the
Well, that's
end
why
of the
we
day.
wanted to get a flyer out, get it on social media, get it out to the, I've already talked to Eshelman's already, so they kinda know it's something. So, once we know a solid date, but part of the problem is the size of the equipment, the location of where the water line's gonna go is, they will be in the street. And we've kinda asked like, hey, when you shut down for the night, can we do steel plates, if need be?
Now,
That's what-
if you remember the original discussion, they have to go deep because of where their line is. So they're gonna run into other utilities too, so.
And rock.
Brooks Homes, preliminary plan update. Okay,
There is no preliminary plan.
okay.
Number one, I think it's referencing the PennDOT HOP scoping, which was previously reported.
Okay.
And I don't know, I have to let Scott speak to whether there's been an update on that.
We're-
HOP,
The township, the traffic engineer and PennDOT are kind of working at trying to have a site meeting. I'll let anyone know when that happens, in case somebody wants to stop in, but, they're moving on the first step in the HOP right now. Try to get that moving.
Morgantown Road, commercial. PennDOT HOP for drainage.
So, they have a few forms that are required to be signed by the township, any work within the right of way, short of their own driveways coming out on the PennDOT right of way, have to be in the name of the township. They're pretty standard forms, they need to be authorized for signature by the board. The only comment I would add is that, there is a section where they have additional, emails for contact anytime anything submitted or review comments are issued that we should add the township and typically our office on there.
do you know the time, I know these came in, I wonder about the Labor Day holiday. Do you know the timing of when they want action on this? Do they want action now? Are they ready?
They would, yeah, they're requesting it as soon as it can. I think on our end, as far as the land development review, we had comments in there, and it has been part of the preliminary plan approval that they understand that we'll probably be entering, or will be entering into separate agreements between the developer and the township to establish the installation, ownership, and maintenance of any stormwater facilities. And one of the other ones is the traffic signal. There's already an agreement with, the mall on what some of those responsibilities are. That will cover, which they've agreed to, that agreement, which will be revised and amended to come at a later date, more of the final plan, but, I think the sign needs were protected by having that in the preliminary plan approval. But I think they're moving to the HOP regardless, but they'd like to submit these because it is part of that process.
I'll make a motion to sign the HOP for drainage.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
I'll make another one for the HOP for sidewalks.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
And the 160 form for traffic signal.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
By Winco escrow release request.
They're, at this point, they're substantially complete. I had a separate letter for that, but to summarize, there's still a few items that need to be addressed, including terminating the permit. Before that gets completely released, there will be a maintenance agreement since there was work within the roadway. But that'll come when we do a final release. For now, the majority of the work, like I said, is complete. We would recommend escrow release number one in the amount of $407,455. And that would leave a remainder of $67,242 to be done at a later time, and would cover what would be needed for that maintenance period. But for the current time, the escrow release one is $407,455.
Did they fall under the escrow for the stormwater? Remember we started putting escrow in for stormwater for maintenance? Did those plans come in after we approved that or before? I don't know.
After.
So we have an escrow set up for that as well?
I think so. That was kind of before.
I think that came in right after.
Yeah, so if it was, that wouldn't get touched until that's established so that we can inspect it down the road 10 years down the road.
Right.
But I don't know.
I can confirm you in a minute, right?
Depends on how long ago it was. I mean, I have a spreadsheet, which I have to go back. It's definitely separate from this. There is an escrow.
I just wanna make sure it's there when I release it all.
Oh, no, that would be a separate standalone escrow.
Well, we
It would be
couldn't
part of
touch
this.
it anyway if it wasn't.
No, I just wanna make sure that we were starting that.
Right.
If that is, that would be a separate escrow than the money for this. This would just be the improvements agreement escrow.
Okay.
Send me a motion for the 400.
Seven, four,
Well, right here.
Yep, that's
So-
what it's for.
Got a
But he's
motion?
talking
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
I missed that, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Who made the motion?
Motion. Second,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yes.
Land development plan updates,
Right.
XTL, anything on that?
I think the short answer on that is there's a meeting to be held. Their engineer is trying to establish a meeting between, the owner, the conservation district, possibly the contractor, but to try to move that along on just, stabilizing the site and trying to work towards releasing their escrows, but, satisfying the permits as well. Kind of a work in progress.
Keep us updated on that.
Yep.
Wexford Court.
I spoke to Terry on that one, short of the, inspection they did on the wall. There hasn't been much movement there, and even the streetlights are not yet complete. So there's a little bit of site work to be done, but, that still hasn't progressed to where it's.
So are we at with this, Terry? Where do we go from now? Cause this has been dragging for too long.
2 years.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is, the fence that is put up was never permanent, okay? Market City's been told to take it down.
That's a split rail.
No, it's a solid fence,
Yeah, it's like a.
Yeah, it's like a wooden,
yeah,
I think it's maybe like 5 or 6 foot.
Yeah,
fence,
that's all.
But
And
it,
the fence that was approved in the land development plan was a chain link fence to keep
Right.
people away from the rock face. That fence that's there was not approved, so, and Joe's been told what he needs to do, he just isn't doing it.
Well, and the lights too, like that's been going on for how long too?
2 years.
I think that he had left me a voicemail saying that they're coming. But that
They've
was
been
really-
coming for a year
Right,
and
so
a
what's our
half.
next step?
So we have a letter from Eric so where do we go? Where do we go next?
That's something we could discuss in executive session. I think there's one report that you're gonna issue with regard to the response to his engineering report.
Yeah, I think it's probably appropriate to issue that letter and just wrap up that does not complete the inspection and it's not on the. So with that letter issued, if we issue that, then is there another?
I think that's the last piece then.
Okay.
Alright, well, let's get that done.
All right, I'll get that out.
South Twin Valley Road right away.
Per email, I think we need Eric and I can discuss that, but the company looking for the right-of-way information, did not believe that they were going to pursue getting the additional right-of-way from Singer. They said they would probably just assume that that wasn't there, so I think we need to reach out to Singer Equipment to try to get that started.
Do we need to if they don't, need it?
I think their design would just assume it's not there, and
What is this for?
this is the widening
Of the
of the
turnpike.
turnpike area and how that affects the South Twin Valley approach. If we don't pursue getting the additional right of way, I think they would just assume, well, it's just 33 foot wide and kind of shorten how much they would cut back slopes and whatnot. If they had a little more right of way, they led me to believe that they might kind of widen that a little bit more as you approach the bridge. So I think it's probably in the township's interest to try to just reach out to Singer and get that started for the right of way.
My initial reaction was not to undertake work for the township at your cost and expense, to approach Singer to do all the documentary work necessary to expand the right of way, which would include resolutions, deeds, filing with the county, the necessary paperwork to help the turnpike expand their turnpike.
But we'll help our
We would
residents.
assist if necessary, but that they could do that work on their own. And so the reaction is that they don't wanna do that.
Yeah, them assisting being the turnpike, they said no, really.
And they're saying widen the road where it goes to the bridge, is that what they're talking about? What do you-
Yeah, they're trying to establish how much right of way is there to
Do
work
we need
with.
that for?
Well,
for
for
people?
many years, we talked about making that our truck route, so we didn't have to run the trucks down Valley Road. I mean, that's something that I would like to see done. Problem is, we can't do anything on the east side of South Twin Valley because of Kurt's Farm being agricultural preservation.
Yep.
So we'd have to go to the west side, which,
So if we're gonna do something, we should do it now.
we had talked
while
about
they're-
that way they could widen to what we have.
Yeah, so I think the coordination, I think it would have to be Eric Ride, reach out to the Singer and say, this needs to get started. You've already committed to it by plan, we just need to get the paperwork finalized.
I mean,
so
how
that
much
it's
are we,
recorded.
I mean, if he's gonna help us where we can have that, the truck route, it's best to do it now while they're reaching out and
Yep.
get
I think
everything
we
ready.
get what we can get, because we're gonna be coming here to drive to South Twin Valley, so at least get whatever we can get.
Okay.
So I say we should. Do you agree?
Yeah, but even though that's an ag preservation, the Turnpike Commission can't, they don't have an easement to go for improvement.
I don't believe so. I don't reach of the turnpike, I can't say I know completely.
Then how did they get the widening all the way through there? Because there's a lot of farms through there that are ag preservation, including that same farm, and they're still widening the width. They're still taking more width.
From the discussion I had, they're still searching each one of those properties right now for that question. What can they, can't they do, and which direction are they going? It sounds like they're still in that
Okay, so
discovery mode.
we wanna
We'll do it.
move forward
It's
with
important
that.
to the township, absolutely.
Food Valley traffic signal timing.
We reached out, I guess there was a discussion about the timing for the school, left turns on the Twin Valley, I believe, from Main Street. And they were open to looking at that and actually doing the revisions. They just need the township to issue a letter saying that they're requesting that. So at this time, we're just looking for the township to agree that the timing for the morning and afternoon is looking for a little more time, green time for the vehicles turning on
Should we
North
make a
Twin
motion
Valley.
for that letter?
No, Keith's not here, but we've had a lot of problems that late over the past month or two.
Yes.
I mean, is that something that CM High, do you know, Scott, something that CM High messed up? Because it seemed like after they left, there were more problems with it after they left.
I don't know if he's talked to CMI on, if he did, I'm not aware.
But there were only 2 rounds and then it happened since then. So maybe they found the issue and.
Well, one of the problems we found out was the beginning of the school year, it was a mess. And here, one of the pedestrian signal buttons got stuck or whatever, which was like somebody was standing there pushing it,
So
which
cycling
it
light.
was cycling it constantly, and we were getting 1, maybe 2 cars through the arrow, which created the big backlog on 23. They did come out and fix it, and since then, it's been better, but again, talking with Keith, who talked to Scott for me, we'd like to get more time for that morning rush and afternoon to help get the traffic up to the school, so that's why we're asking for this.
And PennDOT's okay with kind of taking that, running with it, making the changes, and then eventually coming back for the signatures, but they just need that request from the township.
But to the public out there, I mean, we get these lights looked at quarterly, so if somebody sees something that the light isn't working, call the township office so we at least know about it.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Climber Hill Road.
I think the only thing I can add on that is there was a question of what the township property was in that area, and as I know it, it's the back of Highcroft, which would more or less connect the cul-de-sac with Highcroft Drive and Climber Hill Road, technically in that area. But from everything I've heard and understand, because that was before my time, that area up through there is somewhat steep, it's very rocky, and I'm again, from what I've heard, it's not very conducive to putting a road in. I think that's been looked at before, but that's the strip of land that I think, when you reference township property up there, that's what it would be. It was, I believe it was an open space area that was dedicated to the township. I think our thought was to have that connect to the road. Can it happen? The construction of the road through there, I don't necessarily, I can't say, is it feasible, but it sounds like people look at it before, and there's got some hangups with it.
Carrie, the property between the airport and the school, is that agriculture preservation too? That's Kurt's too, isn't it?
There is a gas easement that runs on the eastern side of Highcroft.
On the eastern side?
On the eastern side.
That wouldn't be included in the,
I don't know that. I'll send you guys, I've asked for a copy of that easement plan from UGI for our purposes, but I'll share a copy with you and you can see where.
that might be an option.
It might be.
That's what we were talking about, going around the east side of it.
Yeah,
Get
that'd be
that
great if we
road
sent a
connected
copy.
up to Clamor Hill from the airport property there somewhere. Gotta go around the outside on the east side of it, and if there is an easement, that may be all we need.
Alright, so we'll just let
Can you
the
send that to
see
Scott?
with that.
When I get it, I'll send it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Stormwater drainage updates, Rock Ridge.
We've had progress with the property owner at the end of the cul-de-sac where I think a little hang up on getting the agreement revised, but that looks like it will, move forward. There is another resident that has to sign off as well. Had a little bit of a hang up trying to get a hold of them, but, the one that was here previously, Brian Metz, has basically said that he's in agreement with what we've shown on paper and the draft agreement that Eric had, basically, got to revise that. But he just said he'd go ahead and sign that as we have it shown. So there's still a little bit of work there, but it's progressing.
Just make sure that all parties are in agreement there.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
91 Broad X stormwater.
That one we're still looking at, and has provided a thumb drive with videos that she had to the township, taking a look at that in comparison to some of the land development approval plans, and just have not kind of finished that review yet.
Well, Keith Fritz and I went out during the last rainstorm and we talked to Ann and we came up with a couple different ideas that we passed along to Scott and he's gonna follow up with it.
Morgan Corporation driveway swale matter.
We met with them, and that was a lot of sediment that continues to come out onto the road and cause water problems. Ryan McCafferty seems to be the contact point, who was very responsive. It sounds like he'll follow through, and that should help address this, but hopefully by the time we're here next, we can say yes.
Stormwater driveway non-compliance, 371 Swamp Road.
We wanted to get a second quote on that. We reached out to Risbon. We haven't heard back from them on that. So still at this point, we have a quote from what's the one that we got? Tri-County Landscape. That's still the only quote we had, which was $3,000 to do the work. That's the excavation and replacement.
So what if we can't get other quotes?
I'll call it for him. That's blacktop too.
That's the black, that's everything, 2,000.
2022 street work invoice for approval.
I had a letter prepared for that one as well. They're complete. The two items that we have and recommending retainage for is the yellow paint on Harmony basically got material dragged over it to the point it just covered up areas that it shouldn't have covered up. We asked them to repaint it. They said they really couldn't get somebody out there real soon. So we kind of agreed upon $1,000 reduced from their completed work to compensate for the township to have to kind of throw that on the county bid, include that to get painted. The other one is, if you haven't seen it, there's a little bit of a pond on Maple right next to the mill. We were worried that it was flat in the area because of the driveway. We took shots on it and they should have been able to get rid of that. So we're gonna unfortunately have to get them to fix that. But we're recommending retainage. I think it's about just short of $6,000 for the retainage we're recommending. But the total project, since they have everything total, is $344,552.18. The original contract was $380,000 and change, so there actually was a savings in about $36,000 on this project. Some of that was Maple Drive had really good stone underneath it, so we didn't have to do the full excavation that we thought we would have to do. The other one is I had a little too much pavement on the one road, and we didn't have to use all of it, so there's a savings there too. But with what works out to be about a 1.5%, we're recommending the payment at this time to be $339,383.90 to New Enterprise.
Do you have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Are you gonna oversee the inlet
much at the areas and then feather it in, so we're not messing too much with it.
Cause we just spent a lot of money.
I know, yeah.
Police Department, Highway Safety Network Agreement.
That's the renewal for the grants, that if any highway safety grants come out, we will follow the agreement of what it requires and signatures by myself, by Joan, and so forth. So we just need a renewal for the highway safety grant.
So you need approval for signing or,
Yes.
okay,
I'll make the motion.
have a motion? Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Part-time police officer resignation letter.
You have before you Officer Yatsko, left the department. He's gonna dedicate himself to, his full-time position, so he left the department.
Motion to accept?
Is this the same gentleman we gave almost a $5 an hour raise?
No, ma'am.
Different one, okay.
Make a motion.
Motion to accept?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Public Works, CDL new hire recommendation.
After the interviews, decided we would recommend Scott Christopher Moldy to start at the earliest convenience. It's gonna probably be somewhere around October, first week of October, at a rate of $26.25 an hour.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second?
And that's a conditional background checks. and all
Yes,
that.
conditional to
She-
background
she
checks.
said that.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Lenape Road wall estimate.
Keep a quote to fix the walls just right there next to the shop. It came in at $6,816.50. That was to come in at labor and materials. From what I understand, the retaining wall block is starting to move in certain areas, and that's to kind of take that out, replace it, and fix it.
We're looking to do that before winter hits and if there's more, or,
Well, I guess the block is falling out, and kids ripped the block out.
Is that what it,
Yeah.
so we need to get done ASAP.
fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to fix the head wall,
Second.
Nancy Road.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2022-45 handicap parking space renewal.
This one here is the one back here that you all approved. It expired in the spring. I contacted the owner, actually the granddaughter, and they would like to continue it, so we're gonna do a 2-year extension if that's okay.
Do they need it yet, I mean, with the,
Yeah, she's
Working out.
saying,
They're
yeah,
still-
she
okay.
feels that there could be another issue.
okay. We have a motion?
Well, it probably isn't an issue now since Dr. Kim moved her office probably, but I'm okay, I'm okay with it.
I mean,
I'll make a motion for resolution 2022-45.
Second.
motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Traffic signal upgrade funding notice for approval.
Joan asked that I took a look at that. It basically came from the signals department that said there's basically money out there to upgrade certain intersections that have been identified, or I'm sorry, for any state that has 15% or more total annual fatalities, just within their state. Pennsylvania fell in 16.75. So they had to, take money and set aside for this Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, to the tune of $18.8 million, and they identified intersections that could qualify. For Carnarvon, it's Main Street and Morgantown Road, and what they're proposing is to come in and the traffic signal, the pedestrian signals, they basically determine that they're out of date, and what they wanna put in is the countdowns. And it costs nothing this is to approve it. They gave it about a 8-day notice to give approval by Friday or else
I
you
didn't
don't
think
get
the
the
one
funding.
down,
It was the only one that for some reason, however they narrowed it down, that this has probably got enough volumes that they would approve it. So they will come in and upgrade those on their own contract to no cost to the township. I think we're gonna try to put out something, construction must be completed by fall of 2025. So who knows when it'll come through, but they're just looking for the township to approve them to do this. If they're out of date, if they're out of date,
We
it
have a
costs
motion.
nothing.
I'll make a motion.
second. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
MAA contract for renewal,
Still working.
motion. Oh, the contract, oh, the MAA, I was thinking the MABA. FirstNet cell phone is for approval. So where do we stand with we discussed this for FirstNet? And who is getting, that's through AT&T, and we decided to switch, correct? Okay.
AT&T and First Net are the same.
So this is what we're looking at to approve for these 5,
Or first, if.
or we haven't even decided, I know we discussed, but did we decide on who?
We didn't decide on how many phones, I
We
think that was
did,
the
yeah,
thing.
okay, so,
No,
It's a
because I mean,
savings, it's definitely a savings.
okay,
And then the FirstNet thing does that preemption thing where if you have this plan, you're gonna have first priority.
You get
Right.
priority calling in an emergency.
Right. And that's all I know
well,
about.
currently, how many phones do we have on our plan?
5, I think? 2, 3.
How many phones do you have for the
We
office?
have 3, but we're gonna have to go to 4.
okay.
That's
So,
what I mean, I think we need to get a count from our,
Yeah, we have 3 there, I have 1, Keith has 1.
okay, so we currently have
So we
5,
need to go
but
more.
we need to know how many we need.
yeah, let's
So,
get a count.
especially
from
since
all
they're
the departments.
priority,
Because these can be used during a time of emergency when cell
Right.
towers are
Right.
down,
Yeah.
so,
Correct.
I mean, I think
And
we
they'll
need to
still
look
work.
into that. Right.
so we should have,
Well,
Even if we keep
So-
an extra one here for, like I said, for emergency management that we have here on file, you know, what I mean, to keep it during an emergency.
yeah, so, well, Keith,
Cause you get the phones, for, what was it, a penny?
Yeah.
and then the plan is like 30 some odd dollars a month each. So I think Keith McGowan said for his department, he's proposing 3 phones, so 2 additional.
and then,
And 1 additional.
Well, so you got 7, there's 8 right there.
4 total for us.
I don't want them with it.
or,
That's 3.
7,
So I mean, just get
Just get-
like 10.
Yeah, cause I like one.
yeah. You can always have 2, too. I think.
Mhm. And take away if later you find out,
Yeah.
you know, your budget's tight, you need to cut something.
So just get 8, we get 2, if I get more, we get more. I don't know, that we're saying 10 or 8.
Wanna start 8? We can add easily.
4, 6, 7, 8.
and you're sure 4 is enough for,
Yeah, I would give Chief 1 extra and Keith 2 extra with the 8. Oh, but you wanted 1
Or
more
just get
for
10.
emergency? Okay,
Yeah, cause I want one.
so I can talk to him about just giving us 10, so it'll be 10 different phone numbers.
Well, our full-time road crew guys, I mean, they use their personal phones, right? Isn't that
Some
correct?
do, yes.
I mean, that should be something, I think all of our full-time guys
well,
should
yeah,
probably
they
have
do need
one,
to have it, cause they're the ones that
especially
be
when they're
out
on
there.
call.
Right.
So how about, we would, make sure Keith, or let's do 10,
Just do 10.
Yeah, we can always change it, we can always delete.
10 would give everybody over there a phone.
How much are these phones extra?
they're fine.
Extra,
They're
right
actually
now,
cheaper than what we have.
Yeah.
If we get the
But I
phone
mean,
for,
do we need 10? If we don't need 10, why would we order 10?
well, they're
And
saying
why
one,
did you need one, Keith?
I want one for the township.
I mean,
So,
I thought it was
because-
for yourself.
It's not for my personal use,
Oh,
She
okay.
no.
has a cell.
I have my own phone.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, no, I want it for the township.
Okay,
That's the only reason I want it.
okay.
I'm on call a lot of times and that type of stuff, so.
These phones are designed for, more for townships, so if there's ever an emergency, these phones get priority on the cell phone towers, so that the
Where we on
road
our
crew
personal,
can
we won't have
communicate
communication.
with
Right.
the emergency service management,
Right.
the police, the.
9/11, when
But you would have to
9/11 when
come
cell
here to
phones.
get it though, right? You'd have to drive here to get it.
Well, no, our full-time employees would have them on them. Right now, they're using their own phones, and to be on call, they've been asking us about giving them like a cell phone allowance. This would be
Okay.
all part of that.
Okay.
But this, like,
If
when
we get it
9/11
cheaper.
hit and all the cell
Okay.
towers were down,
Mhm.
this will not have that problem. So our police and our road crew will all have cell
Yeah,
signal
so
no matter
And they
what.
are on call
This-
in an emergency like that, or road department, or how do you call them if the cell towers are down?
Yeah,
Patty,
These
when,
phones-
right,
when the tornado went through,
yeah,
you couldn't get on, you couldn't get on.
okay,
Yeah,
But these
that-
can.
yeah.
So the signal, like the problem we have with our road crew where he has hit or miss and we have to come on a home phone. This is a stronger signal, we're saying under normal circumstances. we
This
can
is AT&T.
Also,
This is
Right.
AT&T,
so
yeah.
we'll be able to.
Yeah.
get
I
a
have
hold of-
service
okay,
all over Carnarvon Township.
Okay,
He moved out of his bad area, so.
he did, but,
Well,
all
and
right,
also,
so,
I was just gonna say, like, there are times the township office is trying to reach the road crew, and if they're responding to a tree that fell or something, we found that there's spots where we couldn't get a hold of them, so
Yeah,
it's really important.
yeah, it is.
okay,
Right.
so you agree to 10?
Yes.
So
Okay.
we should update the quote because we can't just automatically assume that.
Correct, so she'll go back and she'll,
He's got one on here.
oh, does he?
He does. Yeah, he went ahead and gave us for 10 phones. He gave us for 5
Oh, look at that,
and 10.
Where?
the next page.
See us.
They look identical, maybe that was the confusion. But yeah,
Yeah,
he's
right
got
there.
it there.
Would you look at that?
We got it covered.
So even if it's 10, we're pushing close to, we're not paying out much more than we did before.
Right,
No,
Okay.
not much more.
and the phones are a penny, so they're
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a
to-
motion.
second.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Personnel manual updates, benefits chart for review. So what did we need to finalize? Were we waiting on more information from someone, or did we get all that information?
There was a discussion, as I recall, about the 10-hour day versus, an 8-hour day.
Okay, so is this something we wanna wait for Keith to be here for?
I would think so.
Okay, alright, so
We
we'll,
met the work. Is he back to work?
Yeah, you should.
yeah. Fire police request for October 19th, 2022, Elverson Parade.
Make a motion.
Second?
Motion is second, all those in favor? Aye. Draft ordinance number 188, park rules.
Yeah, so if you look at the minutes, scroll down a little bit, and highlighted is the section of recommendations from the Parks and Rec for the ordinance. So, I don't know if maybe you want Eric to take a look at the comments to see how those can be incorporated into the ordinance. Talks about section 2, do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, section 8.
Okay, so in red is what, Park and Rec has added. Is that correct or no?
I think those are areas that Eric has already incorporated into the
Okay.
ordinance, right? But the minutes, Parks and Rec minutes that you see in that packet,
Okay, that, they're in there.
additional comments, yeah.
Okay,
Those
those
haven't
actually
been,
have parentheses around.
yeah, that hasn't been incorporated into the ordinance.
Public gathering, 5 persons seems to be a low number.
comments on, there's questions that, is that too low?
Oh, you think 5 is too low for a gathering? Missing that, if you're a gathering, a dozen or more people, you know, at least a dozen or
I
more.
flag that as being perhaps too low. And you may want to consider, instead of addressing gatherings in the parks ordinance, what many townships do is address gatherings in a separate ordinance, because you could have gatherings outside of parks. You have gatherings or rallies or things on streets, parades, etc. You know, for the township building, parking lot, that you may want permits for. So you have advance notice of when large gatherings occur, so that the police are on standby, or EMS, fire are aware of those kinds of things happening. So you may want to pull it out entirely and address it in a separate ordinance. If not, then you've got to address, well, what's that threshold where the police would want to know in advance that there's going to be a large gathering? Is it 5, is it 10, is it 20? Is it 50, or don't you care?
I mean, if someone wants to use the park over there,
5
a
we
baseball
thought was-
game, I mean, we don't wanna, you know,
was
that's a
too-
gathering, but.
Yeah,
Well, 5 is too low. I mean, my family
Right.
consists of 5 people. If I go over there to sit at the park and have dinner,
That's kind of
I
what
mean,
I
that's
like.
kind of like, yeah, what, I need to get a permit to do it? No, I
Yes.
mean, my parks are there to be used.
But
It
when,
takes 12 people to make a baseball team, so.
I mean, even if you put it at a dozen, 12, more than 12 or more.
Usually you see it at 20 or 50 or sometimes 100,
I mean, maybe,
or
two
sometimes
dozen,
larger.
families over there having a ball game, there's probably gonna be at least
Well, I mean, yeah,
20
if you
people
do a ball
there.
game, you got 9, I mean, there's 18 right
18
there, and you
Yeah,
got extra
well,
people, 20, so.
Maybe 2 dozen, anywhere 2 dozen is we consider a gathering. I mean, it's, you know,
That's why I think you may want to just pull it out entirely.
Yeah,
Just
we
take
should-
And if you want to regulate,
Yeah.
if you want to regulate large gatherings or assemblages, you do it in a separate
we don't have
I
that.
agree with
ordinance.
that.
You don't have, believe, have it.
We don't have-
I don't think so.
And that would be in line with protests, parades, rallies, things unplanned, not necessarily things that are planned or intended to be used that way, like a park, where you're intending to have people over the park for functions.
Terry and Frank, you're okay with taking that out?
Yeah, actually, I recall that this came up at a prior meeting, and I think that Eric said exactly the same thing, so yeah, I would absolutely agree.
Yeah, we'll need a motion to take that out, I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then section 8, pets and animals. I mean, you said it talks about area that they don't have to have them on a leash. What's that say in that section?
So section 8 talks about off-leash area.
Off-leash area.
We don't have an off-leash area, right? I mean, we don't want an off-leash area, do we?
That's what we were questioning. We
I mean,
didn't
I
know
would
where that
think we wanted
off-leash area was.
off-leash.
Some people seem to think it's the top lot.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no dog should be allowed in the top lot at all, I would think.
So we've got here, no person shall permit a dog, cat, or other domestic animal to run at large in the park system. Dogs shall be restrained by the use of a leash not exceeding 6 feet in length at all times, while in or upon any part of the park system.
I
Then
would
we
agree
say
with
it's
that.
not a violation of this section to have a dog off leash in a specific area designated by the board as an off leash area. I guess that's the intent, if you have one. So if you
We
have,
don't.
do not have one, you
I
don't
don't.
plan on having one, you can strike that last
Does
sentence.
anybody want an off-leash in public?
Well, if we
or
put a
public
doggy
property?
park in it sometime, but
But that's not
now.
happening right now,
Then you
so
don't.
I say we remove that, we should strike that.
Does it say cat? Did you say cat?
Any animal.
Any animal,
Any
okay, cause a basic cats are, they're not, you can't control cat, the rules are totally different from cat compared to dog. I'm surprised it said cat, that's all.
No, it didn't, it just said any animal.
Oh, okay, you said cat.
Terry, did
It
you
says
have anything
everything.
else
It
to
says
add,
dog, cat, or
anything?
other domestic animal.
Yeah.
No,
No, just
I think we
the-
put our, we put our notes in there.
Okay.
If you strike that, that makes sense. We were
Okay.
just wondering where it
Can't
was.
be domestic.
Okay.
So we need a motion to
Yeah,
strike
but
that. I'll
That's
make
what you
that
can't
motion.
regulate.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
I think we should put on the table though, looking into a dog park
I do
area, which
too.
we talked about for a while now.
We talked about a skate park and a dog park all in one
I think we should
useful
definitely
area.
keep that on the table, that we
Oh,
can discuss about
yeah.
that. Cause I know like during the carnival, we allow no dogs, we put no dogs just even under a leash, because we had an incident the first year where a person brought in and there was a fight. Do you remember that? You guys remember that, right? So we just found it easier, unless it's a seeing eye dog with paperwork, because that was a big thing, 'cause people coming in saying they're emotional dogs or whatever.
Emotional distress.
But unless they have a paperwork with it, we could run the risk. And then one dog might be fine, but it doesn't matter, you might come into another dog that might not be so fine, you know, so.
Winter banners for approval.
I'll have to bring that up on the screen too. Let's see here. You wanted,
Wasn't there something else on there about times?
oh, for the
For
park?
tennis-
Did I miss?
For the tennis, or the basketball courts, was that what
Where
another
did
one?
I see?
Yeah, that's section
I
5.
missed that.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
What are the current times on it now?
11.
I guess I could ask Pat in the back, she would know.
I wish they closed it altogether, put some pickleball in. I don't mind the basketball, I mind the music. That is a nuisance.
Are there signs over there about music?
Yes.
What's our current curfew's 11, is it not?
Pretty late.
Pretty late.
If I lived there, I would think that's pretty late.
Especially with loud music.
Well, I think that, yeah.
I don't have a problem with stepping it back to 10 o'clock.
I don't either.
I mean, if you're gonna do construction in the town, if you're gonna build your house or make a bunch of noise, don't you have to cool it by 10?
I think there's a start time and finish time.
There is a start and
somewhere on the
finish time,
books.
we established that in Wexford Court.
What's the start time?
Start time
I
is
would say
7
after
AM, I
7,
believe.
Yeah, after 7.
I
But
don't
I
know.
think we pushed them off till 8 because they were jackhammering with a big machine, so we
We don't
asked
have, do we
them.
have an ordinance on that? I don't think we have a noise ordinance on that.
Not noise, but we had the nooses,
Yeah.
nooses where it was under.
That was in Wexford Court, so I don't remember if that was a one-time thing or if that was established.
We think it was established for Wexford. Yeah. It says we sit in the nuisance ordinance.
Are there still out-of-towners going in there, or is it our locals? Do we
They're from
know?
all over.
It's the ones that make the noise are the out-of-towners. Now
Cause I know at one point, my sister was going up there, a lot of kids from Reading were coming
Yeah.
down, I know that.
That's the problem.
There's kids meeting from Reading, Coatesville, New Holland. They go to all the towns and play basketball, but, I mean, they gotta be
Well, the only thing
respectful.
that concerns me is that if you start taking stuff like this away, now the
Yeah,
kids
then
have
it's
nothing to
trouble.
do. Now, I mean, if it was our local kids that were going there, that's fine, but if you start taking away stuff like this, then you're gonna start seeing vandalism there. I mean, I don't know what to say, I mean, we cut it back, and can we do patrols there more? I mean,
I mean, we do, but again, we don't know about it.
No, right,
That's why
right.
when we go by,
That's Pat Paul.
911.
I've related to them a couple
I know.
times.
Whether they're from our town or whether they're from out of town, 10 o'clock is late enough to cool it.
Well, and respect, I mean, after 9 o'clock, let's be respectful. Yeah, I know you can't, there's no law that says that, you can't enforce that law, but come on.
Well, those lights are on a timer.
Yes.
But then they break into it and figure out how to turn it on.
Not that I'm made aware of, but, I mean, if we move the timer back to 10 o'clock, it's dark, they're not gonna be able to play.
So is there a sign posted over there, just like all the other
And then we,
parks?
you know,
Is it
again-
considered a park, or is it just a basketball
And that's
court?
not really into the park.
Right.
But
So why don't
Frank,
we do this
the only
then?
reason I say that is our curfew for kids under 18 is 11 o'clock, that's why it was 11 o'clock. I mean, we could step that basketball court back to 10 o'clock, but
Yeah, it's not affecting the curfew,
So let's
so
just do,
they
why don't we
can't.
do the basketball court to 10 o'clock and turn the light out at 10 o'clock? If you're not allowed to be there, what do we need lights for?
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out.
So we're paying an extra hour of electric for no good reason, so we'll just shut it down.
At least try it.
Is there anything else I missed?
Yeah, they
on that?
might fight it for a little while, but they'll get tired of it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll use flashlights for a few
And Matt,
minutes.
if it's loud, call.
I hate to do that.
I know, but you know what? I mean,
It's a quality of life.
they need to know, you know, if they're up there and one's making noise and they get the cops called on them, they're gonna stop eventually.
Maybe if they make friends with their neighbors, they won't complain about their music being a little
How
bit
about you
too
four
loud.
guys go up there and start playing basketball and they just won't come around anymore?
Oh, my God. And that's a scary thought.
It is a vision of the movie Grown Ups.
I know yay for that one.
Yeah. Okay, was there anything else I missed on that? Was that it?
No, that's all I
Okay.
saw.
Alright, the banners. So we sent it back for different colors, or
She's got it up.
did we consider alternating them and getting?
Why don't we all,
I think
one
it's
day,
every
one day?
other one.
Yeah, every
I,
other.
that's, yeah, I think that looks great.
That'll make it stand
Yeah.
out.
Right.
Yeah,
That
that
looks
was
great.
actually the suggestion that we made,
Group.
every other one. Be a different
Yeah.
color.
Okay,
You know, it's nice in the blue.
I do, I like those.
Yeah,
they're
it's nice,
sharp.
tasteful.
Okay, so how many did we decide that, I know we discussed how, an estimate,
10,
10,
so 5 each.
okay.
We've gotta start somewhere. How many brackets do we have?
10. One was broken.
No, not 9, just 10.
It was 11. One got hit. So.
Did we get that
Hit by
replaced by the person who did it? No, I'm taking it out.
Need a camera. I don't think I'm caught who did it.
Okay, so we want a motion to go ahead
I'll
and
make
move
the
forward
motion
with
to
this.
get 10
Second.
banners, 5 red, 5
Motion's
blue.
second, all in favor? Aye.
Okay, we'll get those up in November. Is that okay?
Yep.
These will come down. Those will come up.
Township ID badge designs.
What is it?
Working on it, I was hoping to have a sketch of it for you for tonight, but vendor didn't get it, so I'll have it for the workshop.
Trick or treat night. Set date.
It's
always been the 31st.
Always the 31st,
Yeah. Which
and I
is
think we
Monday
did,
night.
what, 5 to 8?
It's been the 31st.
Right, but I mean,
Is
the
that
when it is?
31st is Monday night,
Okay.
Yep, Monday night.
6 to,
I always thought we did 5 to 8.
That's what I thought it was.
Mhm.
whatever you,
Is that way the younger kids can get out earlier, 5?
yeah, it's a school night, so.
Okay, so
Need a
31st,
motion for that?
5 to 8, motion for that?
Yep.
Yeah. Motion second, all those in favor? Aye. Township reports, administrators report, cleaning service estimates.
Okay, so Ram, our current cleaning company, they are ready to retire. I was able to get 2 quotes. One from a company, but in your packet there, I'll have to pull it up on here. So, one came in pretty close to what you're currently paying. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen here.
Any residents of the township do that?
I did not get any quotes from them. If you have a recommendation.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'd like one myself.
Brian, I think Brian Green.
I did reach out to one township resident that does have the business and made them aware.
Yeah, I got a
Okay.
call and never
They-
received.
So if they're interested, they'll call. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
this is what I've gotten so far, and, Mainline Custom Cleaning, she came and, evaluated things, so $7.90 per month, that's pretty much what we're doing with Ram. Weekly cleaning, she's willing to come during the day, which Chief requested. Twice per month down at maintenance. And then the social hall, that's $100 per cleaning, which right now Ram is about $60. But it's, you know, it's when, it is a big hall, yeah, the floor is a big job. And then we have Vanguard, which they're a bigger outfit than Mainline. So you're looking at $12.45 per month. I think they do a deep disinfectant cleaning too, so you're probably gonna get a little bit more out of them. And 125 as needed for the social hall.
I mean, I'm okay starting with mainline and seeing how it works out. If we're not happy, then we're gonna have to upgrade and go more expensive.
Did you advertise this somewhere, or you just reached out?
I just reached out, I Googled, I called chief, talked to a couple of people. One gentleman who was referred to us, he's not far from here, I forget the name of it now. They just don't have the staff that can do it. It's the floors, they're the biggest part. You really have to have the right equipment to keep them shiny like this, which Ram was really good at. So I found it really hard to find people that could, help us.
Where are these people out of?
Mainline, I think she said it was like maybe Chester County. I
Yeah,
forget.
Paoli areas, mainline.
Mainline coming through there.
Vanguard.
Isn't there cleaning isn't there anybody that cleans in the MABA?
Well, that's why I'm thinking, can we advertise it on the Facebook and the website, maybe till workshop to see if any local people, cause I know that
Somebody
there's
from
so many
Lancaster
people wanting
County.
to do it. But if they didn't know about it, I'm thinking maybe we just advertise it, so give them a week or two. I'd rather deal with someone local if we can.
Yeah.
So when does Ram retire? I mean, are they done now? Or,
Yeah, she asked me recently, if we found someone. So, Vanguard's people work here, they're from Allentown, but they have satellite offices, so
okay.
you have to find a firm that's pretty big, cause again, the floors, it's intense.
Oh, so how often do they come out weekly?
Mhm.
They do that to us, they wanna retire. We
Well-
have Kelly's email for MABA, right? Kelly's still in charge over there. Maybe send a quick email out to her and see if there's anyone in the MABA that would be interested.
And is
But-
capable of doing the job.
Can we, if no one responds, do we wanna move forward with mainline for now? Because we can't let the cleaning go, and the people from Ram, they wanna retire, they wanna be done.
Ram's actually on vacation for 2 weeks, so we're not cleaning this week and next week
Okay,
anyway.
so
Yeah,
we
so
have
what's 2 weeks? We can wait till
Right.
workshop. In the meantime, see if we can't advertise it, on our local site, see if we can find
Okay,
someone.
so,
Yeah, it'd be nice to have somebody local.
Yeah, even like Lancaster County area right here in Ephrata, I mean, I had a lady clean my place from Ephrata.
There's two,
Yeah, I'm guessing that's.
somebody in the
So
book
talk to
here,
Dennis's wife.
Made in
yeah,
Heaven
see, for
Professional.
this,
That was
when we
the one
did
I
discuss
first
this, we
reached
told
out
her
to.
just to
She's
reach
not
out,
doing
and then she's
Well,
not
she's
reaching
doing real
out.
estate now.
She's getting ready to retire from that and do real estate.
She called, and like I said, I had a few come out, and when they looked at the extent of it, they just didn't have the staff.
This is the MABA book up
Yeah.
right back here,
Remember
it
Miss
says
Boyd?
Made in Heaven
She
Professional
knows that
Cleaning.
too.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna call her and let her know.
Yeah, I mean, she's local, I think she's still from Huntingburg area. Mrs. Burke.
There's also,
Actually, Guy.
okay, does everyone wanna send their list to Joan, and she can reach out to them?
Yeah, I didn't know we were advertising.
Well, yeah,
right?
we
Well, I
discussed
know
this,
that
when
we
we
talked
told her
about
just to
the
make her
review, but I didn't
call
know.
around, chief was gonna have someone in mind, and that's where we left it. Nobody said about advertising for it.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I do believe she has the bulk of your stuff to do with colors.
Okay, so if we need names and phone numbers to Joan this week, and then she'll make the phone calls and get things ready for the next meeting to see if anyone responds, and,
I'll call her tomorrow morning and have her call you.
Sounds good.
okay, and then I just send that email out to Kelly, and,
Joan, did you hear what Terry said about it being in the book?
there was a name in the book, Made in Heaven Professional Cleaning, MAID, made,
Oh, it's in the MABA.
yeah, it's in the MABA book right there.
alright, so we'll hold off on that.
She took this.
Alright.
I don't know if they're capable, but they're in the book.
Yeah.
Electronic sign quotes.
Okay, so the board had asked for a little bit more information, so what I have here is, of course, we haven't been able to use our sign out there, although it's functioning, it's in stuck mode, so we can't add anything to it. So to get a new radio, which is the issue, it's a part that's in the server room, that's $2,000. to get a new sign, because this one in 2025, I think they said, will no longer be able to get parts for it. The board had considered buying a new sign, and so you're looking at a minimum of 18,000, so that means we'll have to go out with some quotes, and I think after 20 some odd thousand, it's gotta be bids. So to get a brand new sign, you're looking at around 18 grand. It's based on the monochrome and RGB, the coloring of it.
Okay, so regardless, in 2 years, great, it's gonna be obsolete.
Well,
We had even talked about using our ARPA fund only because of the fact this is how we communicate with our
Messages
community.
to our community.
so the coloring, the monochrome, I think is what we have now, all red. I think it's the RGB that you get full color, which, you know, you don't like red, you want color.
But now's the time to look at it. So what other companies do we have?
Is that Horst, did you get that from Keith? Is that who the fire company signed?
Horst is who we got
Did
this
ours.
from.
Okay, but I wonder who did the fire company side? Might be worthwhile trying to check into that, see what.
You can't,
And Horst might even be co-stars, because that would help if we could get a co-stars.
yeah.
There's a gentleman in Mountaineer Village, Scepter Signs he owns, and I don't know if he does this type of signs, but you could give him a call, it's John Bergandino, Scepter Signs. I believe it's SCEPTER.
What's the dollar amount for bids? Over what?
It bids, it's roughly 20,000, so just over 20.
Just a little over 21 right now.
Changes every year now, so I can't keep it memorized, but it's around 20 grand. Days.
We may as well go with full color.
Now, that's the same size out there? Did we say something about trying to get bigger? Or can we do bigger?
We did discuss being able to get information.
Yeah, a little bit bigger, that we can get more info on it.
Yeah, who does the high school and the fire company use?
Now, the exception to bidding would be if there's a vendor that can provide a sign from CoStars.
Right. And that's, if we ask the school, that's a good idea, the school and the fire company, chances
Yeah,
are
when
they
Keith
probably
gets back,
are.
or ask Pete,
Yeah.
maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right?
No, tomorrow's only Thursday, I'll see you
New
in the
England Day,
morning.
it's unlike you.
You want me to say something
Yeah,
to
it
him?
should be.
You want me to say something?
Yeah, say something,
Yeah.
see if maybe he can get some information, because I mean, that's a color sign, I think.
The 18,000 and 20,000 would likely just be 3 quotes, would be all you need. If you can get 3 quotes, and there's provisions, if there's no 3 quotes available.
If they're co-star, we may get better pricing.
And if there's co-stars, then you wouldn't need any, you need to just get
Who's
co-stars
Horst
through a
is-
vendor.
I'm not sure, it doesn't say on
Okay.
here, but I'll have to ask, and I can even search it online.
Okay.
But I think we're all in agreement that we're not gonna dump money into a site that's gonna be
Right.
obsolete in 2
Yeah.
years, you can't get parts for it, right?
Because we're gonna put $2,500 into it now, or $2,500 in 6 months, and we're gonna keep doing that, we may as well just be done with it, especially with the funds.
I was gonna say, especially since you mentioned the ARPA funds and they have to be spent by
Yes.
a certain time,
And I
so-
think that's a very reasonable thing to spend it on.
Definitely.
So, since you want to consider a larger one, I don't know what the dimensions are of that one out there.
Well, I mean, I think we do it within the pillars we have out there, I mean, even if we gotta go longer or wider or something, I don't think
And
we
maybe
go
we
wider,
can,
we
but,
might be able
right,
to
we might go up and down.
Whatever, yeah.
take a look at it, see if we
Right.
can get something with, it's the most amount of information we can get on it.
Okay.
Okay, so first we'll gather, assign people, and then we'll spec to what it is, and then let them know we wanna see if we can go bigger within those columns.
I'm on the PSAT's website right now and the bidding is 21.9, anything exceeding 21.9.
And then that'll change in January, so we're coming up against January.
Right, cause this was January 1st, 2022.
Based on cost of living, so there might be a big jump because of CPI over the last year or two.
So, 457 presentation.
We had the presentation, at this point, we want the board to know that we can go for quotes now, because you have a couple of options. for the 457. Since the township already provides a pension and simple IRA matching plan, this plan, I think the board was saying, would be at the employee's expense. So, you have 457G, I think is what it is. It gives employees tax benefits. I know the officers especially are looking for another option for saving for retirement. But, we have to go out and get quotes. There's, I think they called it direct and indirect. So, the one would cost them more, and it would be managed by Conrad Siegel. And the other, I think they called it indirect, would come out based off of their investments. So, we need two estimates, if you're all okay with us going to get the estimates from Conrad Siegel and the other place they recommend as an outsider. We can bring the quotes back to the board and see if we think it's worthwhile having this other option for retirement savings.
MABA Memorial Plaque.
I think Helen said that they're working on it. I haven't gotten back to her about it, but, so if I, you know, workshop.
Any carnival updates?
Just that, you just did it, she just got a figure.
Yeah, we did a total, for the carnival today, because Joan said everything was pretty much in and paid out. So, they had a total revenue of $47,916.88. They had expenses of $30,509.04, so they had a profit of $17,407.84.
Okay.
And then, I'm gonna start exploring options for next year, so I can, get some dates locked in, so I will bring forth whatever I find.
Maintenance department, monthly report. Advertised road inspections date September 27th at 6 PM. Anybody have any questions on that? It was already advertised, so. Street sweeping, the week of September 26th. SEO report. Library. Tax collector. Did you have anything on the grant update for the library, or is that something they want to report on?
Yeah, they said they couldn't come, so they were, they met with Berks County regarding the grant, and Berks County recommends they wait till next year, because there's a lot of planning that goes into it. So they are interested in it, so they'll come back to you next year.
All right. Tax collector. Police department.
You have the monthly report before you. Again, we're staying very steady busy. I'd like to thank some residents that have been vigilant in providing us with information, pictures of certain acts of criminal activity, which has led to numerous other arrests within the township. I will not identify them to protect their identity, but it is nice when the public does assist and provides us with the necessary information, which leads to, in one case, we all saw pictures of the red car at Walmart that led to, 2 of the 3 being identified, and we arrested them. Again, we're staying busy within the township.
How'd the gun show go?
Gun show was very quiet.
It was
Knock
this
on
time?
wood,
Yeah,
the
'cause
crowd was
usually-
off because of the rain on Sunday. Again, everybody sees the arrest of persons on Crime Watch for the violation of how they answer what is called the 4473 form when they wanna buy a gun. If they answer wrong and are denied by the state police, nobody walks in there and just walks out the door without a records check by the state police. The vendor must call into the state police and get an approval. If the person is denied, the sale is canceled. The problem is the state police are so far behind we're still in the early stages of 2021 with them getting us packets for criminal arrest. And that's, they get assigned to the detective to handle. Some, we do not make an arrest when we verify that maybe it was an oversight, but there are several arrests. There are no incidents during the thing. We also, as you know, last month, we had the tattoo festival over there. Again, thousands of people, and not one single incident occurred during that 3-day event. We were there, we did man it 2 of the 3 days. The crowd was good and no
Did you get a
problems for the
tattoo?
community. No, I have no tattoos, never got into
I
it.
can't stand them.
And unfortunately, as everybody knows, in the beginning of August, we assisted the state police with the homicide up in New Morton. So we're staying busy.
I only went for ammunition. I didn't get a new gun.
I saw it, I waited,
Yeah.
but you got nothing.
No, I did, I got ammunition and a new magazine for my gun.
Must have missed you walking out with that.
Yep.
Zoning code enforcement. Monthly report. Weeds violation notice update.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. In Morgantown Garage, they did give me a plan. I sent it back for some revisions and with some comments, so I'm expecting a revised plan in the next
Okay.
couple of weeks.
Anything else? Anybody have any questions?
Did we skip over the weeds part?
Weeds violation notice update.
We are in the process of working on, the center of town, that's what we're working on.
I'm listening.
EMS. Fire department.
EMS.
Yeah,
we
had
EMS.
EMS
Oh,
is
we
here.
have EMS.
Let me introduce myself. I'm Susan Orr, and I'm a vice president of Elverson Honeybrook Area EMS. And I also want to introduce to you Matt Welch, who is our new chief.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Matt.
And he will provide you with, I guess, the monthly reports. Is that what you typically would do?
So as Susan said, my name is Matthew Welch. I'm the new Chief of Operations for Elverson Honeybrook EMS. We send in our monthly report, and I wanted to just come out and make it a point to meet all of you and answer any questions you had, and be available if you needed anything.
I appreciate that, and welcome aboard.
Absolutely.
We apologize for the meeting taking so long to put you to the end.
I'm also on the Birdsboro Borough Council, so I understand how some of these things work. But my contact information is out there. If anybody has any questions or problems, or if there's anything I can do, please let me know. In the near future, we're hoping to roll out some community training and just generally update the organization and get us in line with the best practices in the 21st century. All right.
Just keep us updated, because in the past, there was a little bit of lack of that, and the only time we ever hear from you guys is when it's like, hey, we need money.
Yeah,
And we want to hold a relationship with you. I mean, you guys are our
Absolutely.
ambulance, so.
Hence the reason I just swiped right over EMS.
Well,
Not used to us being here.
at the very least, you guys will get a monthly report, and at your pleasure, I will be happy to come in and meet with you. Whatever works best for you, I will make myself available. Absolutely.
I know that you guys were doing budgeting and stuff, and there were some meetings, and the meetings were kind of postponed, and the last 3, I think, were canceled. So, I mean, keep us informed of that. Contact Joan at the office, and I'm usually the liaison that deals with the fire and EMS, so just let us know what's going on.
Absolutely, I will do that.
What hospitals are you affiliated with?
We are not affiliated with any.
No hospitals?
Nope.
Okay.
We will take you wherever you want to go within reason.
Like-
You tell me you want to go to Shore Memorial, we might have a problem.
Okay,
but
Ephrata.
Ephrata. So can we talk after? There's
Yeah.
some complications that get into some of that.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
It was my understanding that there were some questions about the ARPA funds that the board had. No? Well, I can.
Well,
let me
like I
just-
said, the last 3 meetings have been canceled, so I know that the last meeting that we had was over at Honeybrook Township, and we had a meeting where I know you guys were looking into what all the municipalities you guys cover, what their ARPA funds were, and you were making a certain request because you had some ambulances you were looking at.
Right, so let me just give you an update as to kind of where we are with that. We have gotten money so far from Honeybrook Borough. They've given us their allotment of the ARPA funds. We also met with the people from Honeybrook Township, And they had actually put aside their allotment for the ARPA funds rather, into a separate interest-bearing account for us. We just have to ask for that money, and we haven't done that as of yet, because we figured it's safe there, it's an interest-bearing account, so we're not buying a new ambulance right this minute, so we have some time for that. And we also just received notice that West Nampneal has also allocated a certain amount of money, their allotment of ARPA funds to us, and we're expecting a check momentarily from those. The ARPA funds are going to be used for two reasons. Right now, we're using ARPA funds to pay for hazard pay. We have, as you probably are aware, there's a major shortage of healthcare providers and healthcare workers. The Department of Health just came out with their report, and I think it's around 6,000 EMTs did not renew their licenses this year, so their certifications. And unfortunately, most of them are under the age of 35, which means that when the older EMTs decide to retire or leave for whatever reason, we're not going to have a lot of people to help back us up because we don't have a lot of young people. So we're trying to recruit more younger people. That's why we started with the hazard funds. They were initially getting $2 an additional besides their salary, so an additional $2 an hour, up to 40 hours. Now we're up to $4 because we really need to try to recruit people. With COVID, we lost a lot of people. When COVID first hit, our frontline workers were out there and they were going to people's homes, and many of them had COVID. So we were hit pretty hard with that, and we had to pay overtime for the people that we did have. And so consequently, we still have lost a lot of people, a lot of EMTs. So we're really trying to recruit. Our salary level is pretty much on par with everyone else. I do have to say that we have wonderful benefits, that all of our EMTs who are full-time get health insurance, there's no co-payment. So they do not pay anything out of pocket, which is really unheard of in today's world. So that's how we're using the ARPA funds in addition for the hazard pay. We're also trying to stock money away so that we can buy a new ambulance. We bought two, I think it was like a year and a half ago, and they've already gotten like hundreds of thousands of miles on them. So,
Well, definitely keep us up to date. I mean, how are things going now since Medic 93 kind of consolidated? You have MICU units now, correct? Mm-hmm. So they'll be taking some of your workload, will they not?
No, we remain the primary transport provider. They are, what they are doing is they're picking up second and third calls in the coverage area to have those additional resources available, but we are still the primary transporting provider for the township.
Okay, so like in a cardiac arrest situation though, if they would show up with that, would they transport or you would transport?
We would transport with them. So you would get lots of...
Aren't they getting ambulances as well?
They do have ambulances, yes. Okay. So that benefits if multiple calls come out at a time, we will triage those calls. Ultimately, the number of transporting resources in the township is greater than it was, but the primary transporting provider remains Elverson Honeybrook EMS.
Okay. I'd be interested in sitting down and having a meeting. Like I know the ARPA funds, I mean, I get where you're going, but we also donate to you guys as well, and I don't know if that has changed, that number. Has it? I don't think it has.
No.
So I mean, we'd be interested in sitting down and talking about it.
One of the questions we asked in the original meeting, which is almost a year ago now, but so your ambulance dedicates a large portion of its time in Honeybrook Township. So I know that when you ask for funds, you go, per capita, whatever scenario you use. But ultimately, the nursing homes, there's 4 nursing homes in Honeybrook Township. Heatherwood, the one next to it.
Tell Free House.
And three. But Tell High is huge.
Correct.
So they use up a very large portion of your time in transport. So how do you equate those numbers?
So,
I was just gonna say, if you look at our monthly reports that we provide to you, I'm just looking at the August report. From our first due calls, for example, Carnarvon Burks had 17%, 17.5%. Honeybrook Township had, and which was the leader, they had 20.83.
They're saying we
So
had 21 calls in Carnarvon Burks, and with the nursing homes, they only had 25 total.
Well, and that's just that.
That's
for the
just
year.
August.
I mean, that certainly is just 1 month, and I'm sure it varies. But I think we can provide you with information on the number of calls and give you kind of a track record for the past year, if that's something that you would
How
like
did
to
we
see.
decide, I know what we gave them, how did we decide what to give them?
Well, see, that was one thing that we ran into. We had a meeting and Gary Elston was part of that. I'm gonna go back several years ago. We tried to get the ambulance to go along the same lines as the fire company. So the fire company has a formula that they base it on medium income, they base it on house assessment, number of calls, and I think you guys are using a very similar method now.
Yes.
Now, when you guys switched over to that, no one ever let us know that, so we had no idea. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, we got a letter, and Joan, you can vouch for this, where they all knew when the ARPA funds were coming in, hey, you're getting this much money, and we want this much money out of your ARPA fund. We're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Was that not how it was?
Yeah, pretty much.
So when we went to the meeting, we were kind of like taken back, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, wait a minute, okay, we don't mind helping you out, okay, but I think until everybody starts paying their equal parts, I mean, we need our ambulance, I get that, I don't have a problem with that. But at the time, Honeybrook was not donating anything, and that's what we were arguing about, that they had so many calls with nursing homes. I'm not gonna cover Honeybrook Township, I'm worried about my residents, that's what we're worried about.
Right, and I do recall that, because that was a period of time where we were really having some financial problems, and you're right.
I get that.
And Honeybrook was not pulling their weight, and that was a real
Yeah, now
problem.
they weren't donating a dime, and I'm like, I don't mind taking care of our part, but I'm not gonna pay for all of that part.
Right, well, I mean, I can just tell you that, for example, Honeybrook, I'm not sure how much they're giving us, because I don't have that information
Right.
now, but I do know that from their ARPA funds, they're giving us over $120,000.
Okay? Yeah, but they get like triple what we get.
Right, but I'm just saying that, they are contributing.
I would be interested in sitting down and taking a look at the figures, because I don't know if they've ever updated what we donate. So, I mean, based upon your formula, I wouldn't mind sitting down and meeting
Okay,
about that.
all right, I will certainly.
What were you requesting from us?
Without going back into the thing, I forget, but it was a good portion of the ARPA funds.
Yeah, it was.
The amount that we're requesting is $56,898.
Yeah, I knew it was over 50.
But we donated more.
This is just the ARPA funds
Oh.
that we're talking about. This is not their regular donation. But I think that, since we had those meetings and we tried to work with some of these other townships to make sure that each township was really trying to pull their weight, give us whatever the funds were. Because you're right, it's not fair for us to expect you to subsidize us when another township who has a larger number of calls are not doing it.
No, right, and I think it just kind of caught us off guard with, I know ARPA funds are public knowledge, everybody knows what that is. But I mean,
Right.
for you to come up there and say, okay, well, you gotta give us $50,000, like, the ARPA funds are for our people too. I mean,
We took care of our police officers with it. I mean, those guys that worked at the front lines just like you guys did. And there was a lot of other stuff, so.
We don't
but
have good nursing homes.
I wanna work with you, I
That's
wanna
a
sit
big-
there and I wanna look at the figures, and I mean, Jeff was a part of the last one, and I don't mind, he and I can sit and talk with you guys and make sure that we're doing our part, let's put it that way.
All right, well, I will certainly talk to Gary. I think that you've also spoken with Steve Bobella.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
we're
I'll
talking
talk to
there.
Steve, and we can certainly arrange for,
Like I said, they've canceled the last 3 meetings they were supposed to have, so I don't know. I mean, remember, Joan, I mean, we're supposed to be.
so
at
we've had
then
we've canceled the last 3 meetings we scheduled with you, your organization?
With the municipalities. Last time we showed up, it was only us and Honeybrook.
It was us and Honeybrook Borough.
That was it.
Okay, all right.
Well, what's Chris Otts with Honeybrook?
Honeybrook
Borough.
All right, so I will certainly, I'll certainly address that with them, and, we'll see what we can do about maybe contacting you and setting up a meeting with just your organization to go over all of the numbers, so that.
Yeah, I mean,
you
the
have a
best,
better
we
idea.
can meet with you, Jeff and I can meet with you, or like, our workshop meeting's probably better, we have a little bit more time, that we can, we don't have a big
Okay.
agenda like that, and that's the fourth Tuesday of the month.
All right, well, I'll talk, as I said, I'll talk to Gary and Steve. Steven is really the one who does all of our financials, so he really has to be the one who's present,
Right.
so.
Okay.
But we can certainly arrange for that.
Thank you. Once again, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, fire department. Parks and Rec.
I don't think we have anything.
Nothing.
We send in the minutes and the request list.
The
I don't
request
think we
list.
have anything.
Anything new on the request list? Or was,
There was,
is that what's highlighted?
there was a couple of, I think, new requests on there. They're usually at the top of the list.
The top of the list? Okay.
Yep. And then I move everything else down to the bottom.
Talking about the time end thing, I see that thing keeps popping up on there. I mean, I'll reach back out to that lady, but she was not very cooperative when it comes to
She
donating to the
didn't-
carnival.
And she didn't reply when I
Well,
reached out to her
I've
either.
called, I've emailed her, and it takes her weeks to get back, and she doesn't seem like she wants to do much of anything. She used to talk at the start, she wanted to donate a pavilion and all kinds of stuff, but, yeah, I'm not seeing that out of her, so
We
I
should-
don't know if you just wanna table that, or
If we could take it off of the agenda, that'd be great.
I think I would, because honestly, I mean, she seems like beating a dead dog, honestly.
Okay, has there been any response to requested donation letters to Walmart, Lowe's, Wawa?
Yep, Chief Stoltz's wife sent us an email on that. So
Okay, so
we had
that's done.
response, yep.
Okay, suggestions to add the MAA agreements. Given we are offering the use of the field free of charge, the township should review their financial books. Open book concept. We discussed.
Well, I don't know if you were part of that or not. So MAA is having a meeting with Twin Valley, okay? Twin Valley just met with the Babe Ruth League, okay? So Twin Valley is trying to buddy up with the Babe Ruth League, and they're trying to see how MAA is gonna take it about all switching to one league. So there still works, and there's supposed to be a meeting taking place. I have not heard when that meeting is gonna take place. So I don't wanna sign a contract with MAA until they decide what they're gonna do. The contract is with MAA, but Twin Valley's doing all the work, okay? And I don't feel confident doing that. I'd rather deal with Twin Valley than MAA if they're gonna be doing all the work and paying all the money. So I think they need to work out where they're going with their league, and then let us know.
So
And then
basically,
we can
everything's
go
on
from there.
hold until. you
So
have a
that's,
meeting,
we can
right?
take that, yeah, we can take that kinda off the table until I hear something, that's all I can
We
say.
still suggest, no matter who it is, given the current situation, that the review of the financials, if they're gonna use the field, they should be solvent.
I agree, I
So
agree
you
wholeheartedly.
should, so you
I don't
guys,
think-
so
I
there
don't
should
think
be
they
an
fulfilled any
annual
part of
review
the-
of their financials.
Well, I don't think they fulfilled any part of that contract in the past 8 years that I've been on the board. And honestly, I think I can speak for everybody up here. We don't mind putting money into our facilities if it's for the kids, okay? But I think this season they had one team. So, I mean, many years that this board has actually covered for and carried the MAA because they provided a baseball for underprivileged kids, if you will, you know, people that couldn't afford stuff. I mean, they cut the rates for them. So we were okay with that, but honestly, they had one team where they had dozens of teams in the past. I mean, you can vouch for that too, Terry. I mean, you know how many teams they had. The pickup softball games that they did last year, did they even try that this year?
We didn't have a league, which was, we had asked questions, but we didn't get any response.
Well, I know that there were
We could do
people
it
who were
ourselves.
interested in it, but I don't think Kim was getting back to anybody.
So we just.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
there's no motivation there, so
Yeah.
I don't wanna sign a contract with someone until they get their act together, if you will.
And we understand it, we're just, if there's, so when we have suggestions there, the suggestions would be for anybody that we would contract with, that we would
I don't
check the
think the Twin Valley
financials.
has a problem putting money into the fields, they put tens of thousands of dollars into the school fields, and what upset them is when COVID hit, they weren't allowed to use the fields, and they felt like they should have been able to because they donated all that money to the school. And the school said, no, if no one's gonna be here at the school, you can't be here at the field. So that's why they hooked up with MAA to come down here. So we will let you know when that meeting takes place.
Okay. Parks, swings at Friendship Park, the kids are wrapping the chains as the distance to the ground is so short, should we shorten the chains?
The distance, I mean, literally it's it was like 6 inches.
I can tell you that Keith talked to me about that, and he said there is regulations that say under a certain age for the parks, and I think it's 6 to 10, they can only be so high off the ground.
Yeah,
So
these
with
are
the
blatantly
kids,
way too low.
well, the kids that are running down at, by the town, or by the road crew building, they wrap them every week. So we're constantly unwrapping, that I can tell you.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, the ones that are over here at Friendship Park, literally, I'm talking, it's, a 3-year-old couldn't swing on it.
Yeah, they were just like,
It's, and it's, part of it is, I mean, when you put new, I know when you put new mulch in, it's something, and I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but no one can use them, so they're wrapping them. And then I know that's a safety issue.
Well, it is, and then plus it does damage to the pole from it
Right.
going back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, and then parks need attention, weeds, you can talk to Keith. And then permission to host a food truck, so.
So we wanna know what it is that we need to do for next year, so that we can get it planned and get, so the response that we got back made it sound like it has to be cost neutral. Is that the case? Does it have to be cost neutral to have that?
Well, I think we were looking for more information, we didn't have all this information, you wanna host from 11 to 7, would like to hire 2 bands for the day's event at the cost of $3,500. There would be no charge for food trucks to participate. We would require them to have the appropriate insurance and any other documents. So you're looking to just have a festival, pay for everything, and just have people come out? Oh, yeah.
That's what we were looking at, that's what we were looking for the first year, yes.
Okay.
It's just to do an event for the community.
I think it's great that you wanna do that, I really do. I mean, to get the carnival off the ground was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of haters, there was a lot of like hoops to jump through, there was. But honestly, it's self-sustained. Now, something like this, I mean, we're getting to the point now, hopefully with the casino, that we can have a budget for something like this to do something. That's how I feel. We still have the money in there from the 250th anniversary. Can we talk to Jack and ask if he's okay with donating that towards something like
I
this?
think he said we could. What was his?
Well, they're talking, well, we're gonna use the money for
Some
the
of it's gonna be
banners,
for the banners, yes.
a plaque, which is on here somewhere, I think they want, maybe, Jeff Brady, Mr. Brady to propose a design for a 250th anniversary plaque. So I don't know how, if the board wants to move forward with that, but a plaque is gonna cost, what, several $100.
You're not thinking for this year yet, you're thinking for
No,
next year.
we can't do it for this year.
Well, I mean,
We
we're-
needed to know whether it had to be cost neutral, or, because one of the comments came back that, where are we getting the money for this? So we just need to understand, is it that we have to go out and solicit donations?
Okay, so budgeting's coming up also.
That's what I was
Did you
just gonna
put
say.
anything in the budget? I mean, have you gotten anything together for what you wanted for next year?
I thought we submitted, I mean, we don't have the food truck, on there, cause we weren't sure whether it had to be cost neutral, but all the other budgeting stuff we had submitted in August, I think.
I mean, whenever possible, it's nice, I mean, if you can get a fee out of the vendors or the trucks. I mean, how many trucks do you have anything planned as far as like how many trucks? What other activities are you doing any other activities?
For the first year, we were just doing the truck, bringing the trucks in and having music.
Okay, so just food and music?
Yes.
Okay, so it'd be the cost of the bands and then the trucks will do their own thing. And they'll sell the food there and.
Yeah, and we put together the plans, we just, again, we need to know if it has to be cost neutral or is it.
Okay, so we are in budget time right now, we're just starting. So this is where you wanna put the 3,500 in for this, to to have it budgeted.
Okay.
And then what we do is, when we get the whole budget, then we start taking things out that we can't afford.
Okay.
And whether that be one of them or not, then we'll decide.
So add that to the line item.
Add that to your
So
items
what,
that go
like,
on the
like,
budget.
okay, so you have your events like Christmas and Halloween and Easter. So I mean, like, maybe like a budget, like, figure out what you spend, candy and whatnot. Do like a budget that way, but then maybe do like a park recreation, like Christmas too, like, whether it be $3,500 or $5,000, put that down, and, you know,
Yep.
to do events like this, you know?
Yep.
Right,
And
so
if we can't swing 5,000, maybe we could say, okay, hey, maybe we could swing 3,000, at least to get started.
I'll put, we'll add that, like I said, we already submitted something in August, but we'll
Okay.
add it to the list we
And
submitted
you
in
have
August.
everything, you know, so your budget, you already did all the events for the year and stuff for, okay.
We
So then just-
submitted all that in August.
Okay, so just add this on as a revised, send it
Okay.
over.
All right.
Okay, we'll put it on the budget sheet and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? When you're doing this budget, are you considering any money from the casino when you're working on your budget for next year? Because this is the first year that we will have casino money to work with. Are you going to consider that money as in the budget or not? Or is that going to be extra money?
Absolutely, yeah, it's not
part of
part
the
of
It has to be in
revenue.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second question is, how would I go about finding out exactly where all of the casino money is going for the township? I don't mean just general fund, I mean, like, I wanna know exactly, would I have to do a right to know form for that, or how would I
It
find
just
that
goes
out?
in the
It's just
budget
in the
and we use
general
it.
fund, it's just part of the,
But you're
the
saying
casino
general
money
fund,
is part of
but
the
I wanna
general
know,
fund.
for transparency reasons, I'd like to know where is the money going?
Well,
Like,
it's going in our
transparency,
account.
for transparency reasons, let's just say this year we're gonna get $100,000
Okay.
from them.
Yeah,
You can find in our budget anywhere.
We've already
where
spent
there's a-
100,000, that's
where
first
there's
of all, I don't see the
$100,000
budget,
spent.
first of all, I don't see the budget, you guys have the budget.
That comes out every year.
Why are we having, don't we have that in a separate line item?
No, I mean,
The
I
casino
wanna
money
know,
itself?
Yeah,
Okay.
there is one.
for what, okay, for the casino money, but what about, how about sub accounts underneath?
Just go to the
Casino.
website, the treasurer's report.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it should just be on the website, to be totally honest.
But what I'm
okay.
asking is sub-accounts
It is on the
underneath.
website.
Yeah, it's it'd be nice to have, we're bringing this money in, it'd be nice to see like, okay, we brought this much money in. I know we budget 315, I think, for this year, so I know that we have extra money already. Like, I mean, that's something we should know, and we should be talking about how we're gonna use that, not just, okay, just go into next year's budget. I think the public would like to know what we plan on doing it, not just, oh, we're just
What I'm
gonna buy
talking
new
about,
roads.
like the Parks and Rec, like, okay, say we're gonna use, $5,000 for them. I'd like to see a sub-account underneath that, saying like Parks and Rec, this is what we're budgeting, this is what, like, actual
We're
versus
just-
budget.
We just started, we got a blank sheet here,
Okay,
and we're starting to fill this out. And over the next couple of weeks, this is all we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be
Okay.
going over what we wanna budget for next year.
okay, and I'm gonna be able to see that.
Well, you're
But
gonna
how
be
is
in the
it-
meeting, if you're in the meetings, we're gonna
We
discuss
talk
it.
about
here.
it in meetings.
We talking about it.
Yeah,
Every
well,
year.
I work
So not only
Wednesdays, so
that,
now I
but-
can't come till 8:30 to the meetings, so.
But when the budget is proposed, when the budget is presented to the board to be as a proposed budget, they have to put an ad in the paper and post it for 20 days for the public comment. So as soon as this is in November, we're gonna be, putting the budget out for the proposed budget for acceptance. They will make a
Well, how will I
motion.
know how much will be casino money that is filtered into this budget?
Cause we're gonna be budgeting it. It has its own line item.
And it'll say income
Absolutely.
for it, okay, and then you're
It
gonna.
will not say it will not say expenditures because
Right, it's
it's
not
part
of
of
the
the
budget.
general
Yeah,
fund.
yeah, okay.
So it's budgeting every single thing in the township.
You'll be able to see
Well-
the total we get from the casino, but
Yeah.
that goes into our general fund.
And then we just spend it. on
So,
it.
But,
I mean,
yeah,
like-
That's what-
see,
we don't
what I
wanna
don't
spend
want a
it. We
general
don't wanna just
fund.
spend like
I don't want
that.
a general fund.
Yeah.
I
But it
want
is
to
general
see-
fund.
Well,
It
you're
is
talking-
general fund.
But
That's all,
why,
period.
why does it have to be, why can't we know, we are entitled to
The
know.
cost of living went up with everything, salt, water.
Yeah, but the whole
gasoline.
thing, that's fine.
So we're trying not to raise taxes up, so that money's gonna help us
That's,
not
well,
raise
Keith
taxes.
ran on raising
I
taxes.
did. You're absolutely correct.
Yes,
And I'm
Because-
against raising taxes.
I am too.
Because at that point, we didn't have the casino money.
Yes, what, no,
No,
but we
we
had,
did.
no, we didn't have the money, but
Correct.
we knew it was coming in December.
Yeah,
We
but
didn't know how much.
anybody could,
The
anything
casino
could
was
have
going
happened.
for 2 years and it never happened.
Yeah, I
in
wish it
those
wouldn't
2
have,
years.
but anyway,
So-
but I don't like a general fund, I'm just gonna tell you, and I'm a resident, so I'm giving you my opinion. I don't think it's right that we seek general fund. I wanna know exactly where that money is going, okay?
We have,
So
thir-
just
we have
make a note of
13
it.
pages of stuff where that money's gonna go. That's what I'm saying.
You're just telling me now that it's gonna be, can I see that, or no?
This is just a draft
It's
right
a, it's a
now.
blank
I mean,
paper.
Oh,
The whole,
There's nothing
my
on it.
big issue is, we've already have, we'll just see 100,000 already. Okay, where's that money gonna go?
where did it go?
Where, it's sitting there, so are you guys just gonna roll it into next year's budget? Is that what the plan is? That's what I'm trying to
We don't-
ask.
We don't know.
That's
We
what I'm
don't know
trying,
until we
that's what I'm
start
trying
looking
to
at these
ask.
numbers.
And that's what it's not coming across that way.
This is the
I-
first year we're gonna be able
I
to budget
understand.
for it.
Right.
Well, you actually budgeted for last year. You actually did accrue for
We
315,000
had an estimate.
estimate, yes. So
And
the money we've got in this year, are we gonna use it this year, or are you gonna hold it for next year is my question.
We increased the police department staff. I have help now, full-time.
Okay,
But so that's the kind of stuff I wanna see.
yeah, we want to know
I want to
that.
know the
Well-
salaries, I wanna know where, and that's your job to tell
Well,
us
Michelle,
where.
You do know that, cause it's on video at every meeting. It's on your video.
No,
Let's-
actually,
let's go even
actually, I've
further.
asked the question every week.
How often has your taxes been raised here in this town?
Well, my taxes go up a few dollars every year
No,
for
no,
some
not
reason.
property
No,
taxes, I'm
the-
talking
School
about school
tax.
taxes.
But they've gone
School
up.
taxes, yeah.
My-
Property
my-
taxes have not.
They're
been.
not exactly the same, I can tell you.
Because
They
you
are
get
not
county
exactly the
and
same.
townships go together.
I'm talking
Carnarvon
about your
Township.
property taxes.
Property
or
taxes.
Carnarvon
It's
Township
It's broken
only.
two
How
different
often have they
Township
gone up
only.
in the last, let's say, 20 years?
Oh, several times. I've been living here 31. Oh
No,
my God, are you
talk-
kidding me?
You see,
Yeah.
it's two different things.
Oh.
So-
School
that's
taxes,
the
school
problem.
taxes.
That's
There's
not
No,
taxes.
I'm talking property, the one-time bill.
The spring, in the
Property
spring.
tax, we have not raised
Mine-
taxes
in
in
20
almost 20
years?
years.
Well, I can get my bills out for
Okay,
you.
when you
Done.
look at your
You
I
do
bill,
that.
can
you have
absolutely.
to look at
Break
the
it
Berks
up, though.
County, and then you have to look at the Carnarvon Township portion. We're asking the Carnarvon Township only. There's more than one tax on there. There's a county tax on there.
You bet, you
They're
have to
paying
look at the
county and
Carnarvon.
Okay,
Carnarvon.
but, okay.
Well, we've
So
gone all
you have
these
to
years
break
and
that
not raised
down.
taxes, so let's go a step further. Our police department, per contract, they're guaranteed 3% raise annually. So
Yeah.
let's just say we gave them, how many cops we got, 9, 10? Take them, give 9 cops times 3% times 20 years. Where are we getting that money at if we're still working from
The-
revenue from 20 years
New
ago?
Morgan was supposed to be giving us some money for police protection.
New Morgan hasn't paid us in
For the
how many
land-
years?
They have not paid anybody,
We don't provide police protection
State
to them.
police are taken care of.
are they?
Yeah.
It's on the
Treasurer's
website.
report?
Yeah, we don't handle calls
Well,
in.
I'm not sure
Nobody,
what
okay.
you're confused about.
But
The
getting back to
treasurer's
my
report is a
original
breakdown of
point,
everything we spend.
I really would like to see.
Yeah, you're not, you're never gonna understand. I ask the same thing every week, you don't.
I mean, I know what she makes, but the township doesn't know.
It is on there.
Her salary is on
Yeah,
there.
her salary.
It is on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Everything's on
Yeah,
there.
everything's
All
on
the
there.
salaries are on there.
Every dollar that comes in and out of this township is theirs.
The problem is, it's, when it's casino and COVID money, they're extraordinary income that is different than the regular income. As the public, we'd like to know, you know, how you're treating that. You know, we want more due diligence with those
So we're
funds.
treating it as we're putting it in here so we can pay our bills and spend it, and it's
You're-
all in
you're
there where it
gonna find-
goes.
you're gonna
It all
find it-
adds up.
We might get a new piece of equipment for the road department.
And I'd like to
so
have a
they can do
listing of that,
maintenance
'cause
better.
Why
Yeah,
can't
there
you
is a
break it
listing.
out though? Why couldn't
No,
you
no,
keep that
it's
separate?
a listing, here, sheet, COVID money, or whatever you call it, HARPA money, casino money, okay, this is what we put it on.
Okay, you just heard us talk about a sign out front there, I said ARPA funds.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
When
saying,
you
it'd be
come to
nice.
these meetings, okay.
But
It's
the
all
problem
there.
is, okay, I tape it, okay? You know, it's not, you know, there's no reason we can't have it on one sheet of paper. That, and I ask for it every week, and I'll keep on asking, cause I think that's what should be done.
It is on one sheet.
Patty, did you
Yeah.
have anything else then?
No, I'm fine. I would like to say the accountant, you know, why, can't you make it to the meetings? I mean, we've gone several months, you have not made it to any meetings, are you?
Because I live 2 hours away.
But why do we hire someone that isn't local?
That's
I
what
mean-
we voted on, and that's what we went.
And I
I
know.
don't understand
yeah.
that, I really don't.
Yeah, and I
No,
don't,
it's not, she can't come, she should,
Alright, anything
and the
else?
due diligence on that, I know, we didn't know you were hired till you were
No,
hired.
Okay,
There's
anything
no,
else?
not the moment.
Did.
I do
Alright, we're
attend
okay.
every meeting though.
yeah,
Unfortunately, our cells system suck.
Yeah.
So we can hear, can't hear you,
I mean, you
yeah,
guys do know that our accountant died, right?
yes.
yes, oh, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
We kinda went to his son, but his son kinda had some medical issues himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we were kinda forced to.
yeah, I
do
know,
what we
but
had
2
to do.
hours away, we need somebody
I have no
here.
problem with her,
Okay.
she's been doing just fine.
Well, I don't like to listen to her on the thing, I really don't. I don't enjoy that at all.
Planning commission. Sewer reports. Water authority minutes.
So they've raised our rates, I mean, I know, that, are they just, I reached out to them, I haven't got a call back at all. Is that just basically from just the normal run of the business? Have you guys heard anything else?
We have no control over that.
Okay, I'm just asking, cause you were gonna ask. I did reach out to
Sewer
them.
and water, even though it's under Carnarvon
I
Township,
know.
are separate entities and we don't. we
I
have
did
no
reach out to
control.
them and I haven't got a call back yet.
Engineers report.
The 160 Willow Glen, to this point has been plated. I think the safety concern has been addressed, but, I think there's been kind of different talks of how to approach this. I think there was the water test on that. I'm not too sure where we're going with that, exactly what, how we want to pursue it.
Well, I went out and looked at it with Keith, and the plate right now is the safety concern that they're eliminating now, by
Yeah.
putting a plate over top of it. I think our next step right now is, I don't wanna make a call and have a camera come out specifically for that. If we have an issue where we have to bring a camera out, and like they're looking for a half day, I think we run a camera down and see. Because if we open that up, I think we're opening up a can of worms. There's like 3 different pipes going in and out of this thing, and some are going right up next to a building, and God only knows when that was put in. It's metal pipe that's probably rusted, and as soon as we open it up, it's gonna be bad, so.
Okay, so next time we have a camera out, we'll do this one
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, okay.
Solicitor.
Well,
Yes. Go
one
ahead.
other thing just to say, because Keith and I did start the road inventory, which leads to the rating of the roadways. We did not finish it for the entire township. I'd say we probably got half of it, maybe a little more. What I plan on doing is just getting what I have completed and get a sample so that that's there for road inspection, so that we can at least see what this looks like when it's done. When it's finalized, then we'll have a lot more information there, but we still gotta go out and look at all the roads. It's just, a couple things kept popping up, and there's just no way we can get to every road in one single day, so. I'll get it to where you can see what that product's gonna look like, but then we can go from there. So,
Can
that's
I
it.
put this underneath like that? Is there any way that we can get Keith McGowan one of these, a laptop?
Well, there's no reason he can't have my own,
Which is a new one, yeah.
Well, I mean, just something that he can take with him out on the road, he can pull
A
plans and
tablet.
stuff
I
up,
don't
like a
have
tablet,
a tablet.
With a Wi-Fi hotspot, because the new phones will have Wi-Fi in, correct, like a hotspot?
They should.
That laptop is Bluetooth.
I know what he's saying, these.
I
as
have
you
one at work, and I
found.
carry it with me all throughout my job site, it's a lot easier to work with a tablet, but when he's gotta go out
I
and
don't see
do.
there's no reason.
When he's gotta go out and do like one calls and stuff, he can pull that prints up, and is he still working with you guys on
Yes.
trying to get that? Now, is that something he can pull that up on a tablet, correct?
Yes,
So if he's out in the field doing a one call, he could pull that up.
yes.
So is there something that we could look into, like getting him one?
Yeah, well, that would require having a data plan, right? Because those don't have data plan.
Correct. It would need a data plan.
That's what I mean, you have a hotspot on the phone.
Like
that does it.
Hotspot on the
a
phone.
screen or no?
Yeah, you can get a hotspot on the phone and do the same thing, and that's what I do.
What's that?
You can get different sizes.
You don't need data,
One a different
you can
size.
use your
Yeah.
phone, your
Alright.
mobile phone as a hotspot.
You can get a separate, Verizon has them, I know AT&T probably, you can get a little box that you can have, that you can keep in his truck, or you can just use, all you
On your
gotta do
phone.
is when he wants to get on his computer, he just has to log into his phone
Right.
and get the hotspot. That way it's not on all the time.
Or a
Right.
tablet?
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I do, I use it at
Probably
work every
the
day.
easiest thing for him would be get the
Yeah.
hotspot box,
Probably.
cause they're just on and off, I mean.
Okay, so get the phone first.
Can we look at one for him and then?
Yes,
Yeah.
does he want to put on
Could
the
we-
size
you
and
know
stuff
what?
of it?
What I use when we were.
Honestly, I mean, I think like
Oh.
a size
Something
like
like
this
this,
is
fine.
It's your
perfect.
internet, this is your
Yeah.
route.
Why don't you give him her, his is a year old, why wouldn't we give him his?
It's
That's
not
a-
a,
it's
it's
a
not
laptop.
a.
It's a laptop,
Yes.
and those things are,
No, that's a pain.
these things, I can't believe how responsive these things are.
Right.
Oh, they're fast.
Okay,
If
so
I can connect my.
What if you get one
You
with
wouldn't even need a keypad.
Just by going.
Well, you probably wouldn't need the keypad, I mean, that's what I mean, like, I
One of
would look
these?
into like an iPad or, this is the Windows.
can we check with the AT&T phone?
Can we see if we can
See-
get a tablet through the phone plan?
That would be
Yeah, maybe
better.
they'll get,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he can take pictures with them and all?
Yes.
Well, that way it'll communicate with us.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, cause you can't take pictures with these.
No,
Oh,
no, my iPad do that.
My iPad, you can,
iPad.
right.
It has a.
it'd be nice if he could
That's a
take
camera.
pictures.
It does have a
It has a camera,
This does?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that might just be for, I don't know.
that's a
I
camera.
don't know,
Yeah.
either. I didn't know it was a
I
camera.
just got
Yeah.
today, I haven't messed with it.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a camera.
Here we go.
Okay, so if you can check and see if we can get a tablet and the hotspot or whatever we need to do, or have it linked to the phone hotspot, and get us prices on that. Okay, anything else on that solicitor? So do we need to amend the agenda?
Yeah, let me do, I think most of my subjects were addressed in executive session. I have two comments. One, a follow-up, I guess, from the prior meeting that I did not attend. Comcast presented to you with a request that they have a franchise agreement. So I've reached out to them. I will prepare a franchise agreement. Depends on how responsive they are and working through the details, whether it would be on your October, November, December agenda. It will be substantially similar to the one that you have with Service Electric. But I have started the process of facilitating that with them. So just look for that within the next few months. That will allow them to use your right-of-ways in exchange for franchise fee, so that they can compete on equal terms with Service Electric. You're required to allow them to do that.
Can I ask one more question? Is there any way you could do a budget without using the casino money and just, do a budget like we don't get casino money? And then do something separate with the casino money, like the big ticket items that you're planning to do?
Well, it's all gonna go in here, I mean,
Yeah, I know, but do you understand what I'm saying?
The sheet's showing us the difference,
Just-
yeah.
Yeah,
If you look at the budget
are you able
report,
to do that?
there's a line item called state shared revenue, and that's where the casino money has to go. We have to put it in there.
But you can make a separate sheet for the public to know what it is, though.
Well, I don't know, I mean, it's general.
You can, it doesn't mean it's
I know you
legal.
can
put
do
it in
that,
there,
yeah.
we're gonna spend it, and we're gonna put in whether it's bridge work or road work,
Right.
or it's, you're gonna see where all the township money goes.
All our
Always
money
do.
is accountable. All
It
you
doesn't
have to
matter
do is
where it
look.
comes
All
from,
you have to
it's
do is
going
look
in
at
to be
it.
spent.
The thing is,
Yeah.
like casino money, is that come December, we only have 1 year under our belt. Now, per second class township, we can get up to half of our town's budget, is that not correct? Half of the town's
Yes.
budget we can get from the casino?
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
At the time of.
It's time per, so just shy
Right,
1.5.
so like 1.3 million, something like that, I think, is what we can bring in. Quarterly works out to what, $250,000 roughly every quarter? Now, the first check wasn't that, it was a little bit less than that. I mean, I think we need to get a year or two under our belt before we start seeing a consistent amount of money coming in.
I know, that's
So
how
we're not planning on spending all of that money. I
How are you
mean,
gonna do a budget when you don't really know how much you're gonna get in?
well, we don't.
You don't never know
You
what
never
you're gonna
know.
get
We
from
never know
anything.
what we're gonna get in.
But
You know
even-
how much
We have an
taxes you're
estimate.
gonna get?
We have an estimate,
No, you don't, you have an estimate, you have an
But even your
assessment,
EIC
but-
credit, we don't know what we're gonna get every year on that. I mean, that fluctuates, so, hey, sometimes we're like,
Yeah,
oh,
well-
wow, where'd that money come
right,
from, you know,
but
we
when
get
they
it
lay
last
people
minute.
off, we're crushed, you know, we're where's the money? We don't have enough money for this. So,
I mean, it's not like we're gonna be spending that thing down, we're putting money aside, we need to build up an emergency fund, we know that, I mean, for all of our departments, and that's what budget time is for.
okay, solicitor.
Last thing, Township was served with a lawsuit by Schaefer Towing that's been submitted to the Township's insurance carrier. Late yesterday, you received a notice of the attorney assigned to represent the Township and the individual supervisors. That attorney has asked for the Township to consent to the representation of the firm. The firm is Marshall Dennehy. It came in late yesterday, so it's not on the agenda. But you will need to vote to consent to that representation and waive any potential conflicts. I do believe it will fall under the narrow exception under the new law, Act 65, because it is de minimis in nature, does not involve the expenditure of funds, does not enter into a contract or agreement. So that new act does require a two-step process to amend the agenda. You need to make a motion to amend the agenda, explaining that it's fitting into this exception, that it's an administrative matter to allow for the representation of Marshall Dennehy. Once you, assuming you approve the amendment, then you can make a motion to authorize the consent and waiver of potential conflicts to allow for Marshall Dennehy to represent the township.
So I need a motion for the first one.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Second, all those in favor?
So that's the motion to amend.
To amend.
Now, in conjunction with Act 65, the revised agenda would now need to be posted within 24 hours to the website tomorrow with the explanation for why it's amended. Now you can make the motion to consent to Marshall Dennehy and waive any potential conflicts.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, second, all those in favor?
We have spent a lot of unnecessary money on legal fees, this township, unnecessary with John Scalia and now this. I just can't believe a town this small is spending this kind of money. Now we have to budget for this.
Well, you don't-
Unbelievable.
The township doesn't, it's covered by the insurance policy of the township.
That's what I was
It
gonna
will
ask.
be?
Not gonna be any expenditure. of
That's what he
funds.
said
There
when
won't
we
be
first
any.
started it.
Okay.
It's America, so anybody can sue for any reason. The township just has to do it.
And then I guess the truth will come out, and this goes to court.
I don't even know what the whole thing is, but I'm just saying, I know John Scalia, that was a lot of money wasted, because I got the records on it.
Comments? Comment?
I have to go.
Comment?
Nope.
Motion?
See ya, Danny.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.